Right this second, without you even having to think about it, a localized force is holding you to your chair. It is keeping the air trapped in your lungs, and it is holding the oceans down against the planet. We trust it implicitly. But what would actually happen if it disappeared entirely? Just imagine every single atom suddenly untethered from everything else. In the first fraction of a second, you wouldn't feel much. You'd simply stop being pulled down. Your feet would lift off the floor, and the coffee in your mug would drift toward the ceiling, forming into a perfectly smooth orb of liquid. Immediately after, everything else goes with it. Every loose object, every car, and eventually the oceans themselves. Trillions of tons of water, no longer pinned to their basins, lift in a vast, slow sheet away from the seabed. Those first few seconds of floating might actually feel serene. Yet this mass upward drift is just the opening sequence of a total planetary collapse. To grasp the scale of destruction, we must look past the idea of falling objects. Gravity acts as the structural glue that dictates Earth's physical shape. This diagram illustrates our planet as an incredibly dense fluid. Those inward arrows represent the massive gravitational compression holding everything together. Without that inward force, the internal pressure drops, and the sphere begins to crack and expand outward. Tracking to the very edge of the model, you can see the first casualty. Our air naturally layers itself toward the surface purely due to that inward pull. Zooming in further, the speedometer shows exactly why the air leaves. At room temperature, oxygen molecules constantly vibrate at roughly 480 meters per second due to natural heat. We call this thermal velocity. Without gravity holding them down, that natural speed carries them straight off into the void. Because of this rapid bleed, the atmosphere doesn't explode, it seeps away. Within a minute, surface pressure plummets. Within an hour, standing outside would be identical to standing on the surface of Mars. While the air escapes, your own body undergoes a micro-scale crisis. Your heart is a mechanical pump specifically calibrated to push blood upward to your brain against a constant downward weight. Remove the weight, and that pressurized fluid rushes straight to your head. Intracranial pressure spikes, your optic nerves compress, your vision blurs, and within minutes, the neurological overload leads to rapid unconsciousness. Human survival becomes irrelevant when you scale out to the core of the planet. Down there, molten iron and nickel sit at 5,100 degrees Celsius, roughly the temperature of the sun's surface, contained entirely by the immense weight crushing down from above. Without that downward weight, the molten core pushes outward. Entire tectonic plates lose their anchor and slide freely over each other, tearing the crust apart and triggering volcanic eruptions on a scale never recorded in human history. As that molten iron core shifts and breaks apart, the Earth's magnetic field collapses with it. Instantly, the surface loses its shield, exposing whatever remains to a lethal bombardment of solar radiation. There is no grand explosion. Over a few days, the Earth silently dissolves, stretching out along its orbit into a massive, expanding cloud of shattered rock, floating water vapor, and gas. You might wonder if anything could live through this. Microscopic animals like tardigrades can survive the vacuum of space, severe radiation, and extreme temperatures. Yet eventually, even they need an atmosphere to persist. The only humans surviving the first few hours are those already insulated from the surface. Astronauts in pressurized modules aboard orbital stations would be completely safe from the initial dissolution. Their survival is only temporary. By watching the oceans and atmosphere peel away beneath them, they are watching the absolute end of all resupply, and with it, the end of human existence. Back in reality, we can predict the behavior of gravity with stunning precision. Einstein's general relativity accurately maps exactly how mass warps spacetime. Yet exactly how gravity functions at a quantum level remains an unsolved puzzle in physics. We navigate our entire lives without feeling it as a force at all. Every geological process, every weather pattern and biological system evolved specifically to counter and cooperate with that exact inward pull. We built our civilization entirely within the rules of gravity. The solid ground beneath your feet is an active, continuous enabler of your existence. Next time, we stay with the theme of massive forces and scale. What if human beings suddenly grew 10 times their normal size? Would giant humans be incredibly strong, or would basic physics ruin the fantasy? Subscribe.